So, hi, Anandi, and first of all, thank you for taking the time to be on this call today. I know you're a busy lady. I believe you're in Italy at the moment, is that right?
Yeah, I am, and it's a lovely, lovely sunny day here. Good for the soul.
So you're having better weather than us. So look, I have been following you for a little while now online, looking at some of your posts relating to sleep, and I think most people would recognise that sleep is very important for lots of different reasons. I know a number of my clients recognise that sleep is very important for them in terms of their health and well-being and their weight loss. Now, you're an international sleep specialist, you're an author, you're a speaker, and you're the creator of Sleepology, which is fantastic. And today we're going to be covering 3 specific questions that I think are going to be beneficial to all listeners. But before we get into that, maybe just share with us a little bit about, how you've arrived here doing what you do, and what really inspires you to do this sort of work.
Yeah, well, basically, how I arrived here was really from my own personal experience of sleep deprivation and chronic insomnia, which started when I was 27. So at the age of 27, I was having like 1 hour, no hours, 3 hours, then crashing. And that went on for years and years, maybe 10. And I had one of my mother's sleeping pills once, and that made me feel worse. And I thought, this is not the path I'm going to take. So I was desperate to find a solution. I started doing yoga, and I really enjoyed it, but I felt that there was something missing. I then decided to down tools and just go to India. I thought, I'm going to go to India, I'm going to go to the birthplace and see what I can find and give myself some respite, because I was just not sleeping, feeling terrible. I was trying to run a business, I was just finding everything really tough. So I went to India, and I ended up in this ashram for 6 weeks. And basically, it felt like I'd come home, because now I was getting introduced to the breath. Now I was getting introduced to Ayurveda. And my guru, actually, that I met when I was there, sent me home to work on the breath. Very simple, very, very simple stuff. But I can't tell you how revolutionary it was. Because often when people want to do pranayama or breath work, they want to do complicated stuff. But what I learned was that you miss the magic. You miss the magic when you just don't take the time to really practice stuff and don't stay with it. So I stayed with this breathing technique. It was just a simple belly breath, but it transformed my sleep. Because what I realized was that over time, that belly breath became longer and deeper, then it transformed into something else, and I was noticing other things. And I realized that actually the fear and anger is held in the belly, and when you can start to let go of that, then it started transforming my sleep patterns. Plus I was learning about Ayurveda, and I was putting that into my lifestyle. But the interesting thing was that I realized that you have to do certain things in a certain order, because often what people say to me is that, oh, I've tried this and I've tried that and I've tried whatever, but it's very random.
Yeah.
And I realized that healing a sleep disturbance needs a process in a certain order. And obviously my passion is there, because I know how devastating it can feel. When you don't sleep, when someone, when you I don't know if you have any sleep issues, maybe you don't, but if you've not slept for 1 or 2 nights, or you've been traveling, you know how terrible you feel. But if you go forward and go, well, it's a few weeks now and a few months now, it's actually going into years, it's completely debilitating. And my message, and I'm so passionate about,
I can tell that
you can heal a sleep issue with patience and without medication.
Which is fantastic.
And that's my message, because the trouble is that people get desperate and they just want to have they want to be knocked out. And of course, that's when you get the sleeping pills, and you get attached to the sleeping pills, and then you get the antidepressants after that, because you're not really getting good quality sleep from sleeping pills. It's knocking you out. It's basically an anesthetic. It's ruining your sleep cycle. So you don't feel refreshed when you wake up. You feel terrible, actually. You don't really feel any better having had a sleeping pill, not really. Or if you had a bad night's sleep. So, that's my real message, is that you can heal a sleep issue without drugs.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, amazing background, and great to think that, you're not just delivering this information from a textbook. You've actually, you've lived it, you've gone through it, you've come out the other side.
Yeah.
So you say you're a true, genuine, I guess, message giver, because you've been there and done it yourself. So the three questions that I have today, I guess, are just going to be scratching on the surface of what you actually do, and we'll talk about how people can get in contact at the end. But I've got three questions that kind of pop up regularly with my clients I'd like to ask you. Maybe just get your insights, maybe a couple of tips on each one of these questions would be nice. So the first one I've got is your routine leading up to going to bed. So I'm talking about the situation, before lights out, you're not quite in the bedroom yet. Are there any tips that people should be thinking about prior to actually, say, lights out, TV off the mobile, whatever it is, but what are the tips that lead up to before you get into the bedroom itself that you can maybe share with us?
Well, one very, very, very fundamental, important tip is the time of eating, and I'm sure that you're aware of this, knowing what you do. But when people eat their meal, their main calorie intake at 8 p.m. in the evening, their body is trying to digest food when the melatonin is being secreted, saying to your body, I'm turning off the digestive fire. I want to lower the body temperature. Excuse me. I want to lower the heart rate. None of which can happen when you're massively digesting a great big meal. Therefore, that in itself is going to disturb your sleep if you've got weak digestion, which many people, when they're having sleep issues, they've often got a digestive issue because it turns the whole digestive system upside down. Yeah. The microbiome has its own circadian rhythm, its own biological clock. And if you upset those bugs in your gut, it's their house just as much as your house, and they will let you know. Yeah. So eating early and eating light is one of the most important things that one can do. Yeah. Obviously, when I say to people, technology off, they kind of go, yeah, but they're still on their mobile phone at like 9 p.m, 9:30 p.m, on Facebook or whatever it is. Yeah. But that stuff it's not just the blue light. Yes, the blue light does inhibit the production of melatonin, but it's the brain stimulation. And I experience it often myself. If, I'm not an angel, I'm most of the time, don't look at my phone. I put it on aircraft mode about 8:30 p.m. so that I feel that I'm cutting myself off from the world, and I don't have feel like I've got those waves, and I feel excessively, and I feel it's all coming at me. And the fact that I actually turn it on aircraft mode, it means I'm switching off. So I've physically done it, and I've mentally done it. And that really helps. Whereas if you try to resist not looking at your mobile phone, and you get a light come up on it, one of those notification things. Yes. It's very annoying. It just is drawing you in. It's drawing you in. So I switch it off. I put it on aircraft mode. So my alarm works because I use it from my alarm. Yeah. So I don't have all those waves by the side of my bed and all that. So that I really recommend that people turn it off. Don't stimulate your things, because any brain stimulating things will upset your sleep. It will affect the ability for you to fall asleep. So you have to quieten the brain waves down. You can't go into a relaxed state, the very sort of first stage of sleep, if your mind is busy, if you've got that sort of, like they call it beta brainwaves, there's busy brainwaves, you won't even be able to start even going into a sleep if your brain. So you have to switch your brain off. And one of the key things I use personally for myself is I work with the breath.
Right. Because
you can change the state of your mind using the breath. You can slow your heart rate down using the breath. You can't think yourself, oh, I'm going to slow my heart rate down. But you can change your state of mind and you can change your heart rate using the breath. And all you need to do is lengthen the exhale. That's all. So you can inhale 5 and exhale 8. 8, for example, if you feel that's comfortable for you. Because the longer the exhale, the more connected you become to the part of the nervous system that quiets you down. That's the parasympathetic nervous system. Therefore, if you were to put your phone on aircraft mode and put the timer on, I have Insight Timer, which is a lovely Tibetan bell, and you could put that on for 15 minutes, lay on your bed and just lengthen the exhale with your eyes closed. And I tell you, that will take your brain from beta brainwaves to alpha brainwaves. So that's busy brainwaves to relaxed state brainwaves. And then you've got a more of a chance of actually going into a sleep. Now, some people actually put their head on the pillow and they've gone just like that. And that's the other thing about what I do, is that people are not the same. There are 3 different constitutional types with subtypes. Some people are predisposed to insomnia, and that's about a third of the population.
Right.
Maybe more actually, because the 2 of the types are very, very prone, one more than the other. So some people go, I don't think, I can drink coffee at night, and I fall asleep. Well, obviously your liver is very good at metabolizing caffeine. My liver is rubbish at metabolizing caffeine. So I can't drink it. If I had an espresso at midday, I'd still be awake at 3 a.m, because it takes 5 hours to metabolize 50% of the caffeine. And don't get fooled by decaf either.
Yeah, sure.
Because decaf has 15% to 30% caffeine in it still. So people go, I drink and apart from the fact that decaf, all the processes that it's gone through to make it decaf, I think if you're going to have coffee, have organic, very nice coffee first thing in the morning, if that's right for your constitutional type. It's not right for mine, but if it is, have it, because it is right for some people. But in the morning, and then don't have it, because then give your liver a chance to actually metabolize it. So, so eating early, winding the brain down, switching off the technology. And it's not just the blue light, it's actually the brain stimulation. And if you're going to read, I recommend Audible, because you can just plug yourself in and you can close your eyes. You haven't got to look at something. And that's more relaxing than actually physically reading on a Kindle or a device or anything like that. And also cuts the use of the device down, because you can still listen to your books on aircraft mode on your phone.
Sure.
So that was a bit of a long-winded response to that.
And I just want to sort of just quickly say, so we're saying eat early, switch off the technology, and think about the breath. And just one before going to the next question, and that is, roughly how long should you switch that phone off before you rest your head on the pillow? Just that period. Roughly how long would you say?
Well, at least an hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
At least an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Not too. Depends what time you go to bed, but yeah.